Today we're gonna try Mountain Dew Summer Freeze. Or is it Summer Breeze? I was thinking Summer Breeze for some reason. Summer Freeze, I read it right. Which, if you can see by this little guy right here, is I think it's supposed to be like a bomb pop, like a, like it's a summertime treat, the red, white, and blue bomb pops, which everybody loves. I had a kind of bomb pop flavored soda that was made by Jones not too long ago, and that was really good. I'm curious to see how similar this one will be, but they named it as Dew with a Blast of Summer Americana, if you can read that. The light's kind of messing it up, but that is not a flavor. Summer Americana is not a taste as far as I know. It's like a style. It's like, it's visual. I wouldn't necessarily associate that with a taste, but obviously they couldn't put, popsicles. They couldn't put the actual thing because then they would be maybe infringing on something. So instead they have to, get away with the generic thing, but that's okay. I'm very interested to try this. It only has 145% of my daily sugars in this bottle, so this will be perfect for me. Perfect pick-me-up for the day, and then I guess I'll just not eat anything for the next day and a half after I drink this bottle. But let's go ahead and pop it open and see what it's like. It's a good summer flavor, I think. It's a good idea. The Jones one was really good. Not quite the satisfying crack that I was hoping. I'm a little worried about the carbonation level, but let's go ahead and drink it. This stuff right here is a lot more interesting than I would have thought. It's funny. You wouldn't think Mountain Dew would necessarily be the masters of subtlety in their flavors, but this is much more subtle than the Jones soda was. The Jones soda was overwhelming. It was spot on, but it was very, 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 very sweet. And this one is too, don't get me wrong, but what this one has, which obviously it does, is Mountain Dew. It's a mixture. It's not them trying to imitate bomb pops like Jones was trying to do. Jones nailed what they were trying to do, which was to be exactly like the item that they were trying to imitate. Specifically, this is Dew with a Blast of Summer Americana. So the core of it is still very much Mountain Dew, and that's what's very shocking about it, is that it mostly tastes like Mountain Dew. Specifically, I was getting a strong blue raspberry flavor, which, kind of connects me to Voltage. This is pretty close to Voltage in my mind, but you do, in fact, get the other flavors of the bomb pops. It's just so subtle, you have to kind of... I don't want to act like it's some big deal, but you got to focus. Like, I had to focus more on the flavor to really pick out the cherry and lime of a bomb pop, which is the red and the white of a bomb pop. It's cherry, then lime, then blue raspberry. And I could taste the blue raspberry overwhelmingly, but the cherry and the lime are there. Maybe other people will pick it up immediately, but for me, it took me a little bit of focusing and taking sips before I really started to taste the other flavors of the bomb pop. And I honestly think I really love this one. This is fantastic. I think the subtlety is a good thing. I like the idea of it. I don't really drink regular Mountain Dew anymore, but I think that it's very interesting how subtle it is. That's all I want to say. It mostly tastes like Voltage, which is already great, but you can pick up the bomb pop flavors, and it's fantastic. It works out to be a great mixture, and I think maybe even superior to Voltage, but I'd have to go taste them back to back to really know. But I love this Summer Freeze Mountain Dew. Unfortunately, I probably won't be getting much more because, the 145% value of daily sugar in this, which I try to drink Diet Coke most of the time now. Not Diet Coke, Diet Soda. The way I was raised, I call everything Coke, like in conversation, which, I don't know if anybody else was raised like this. Let me go off on a side tangent, but I think it's like a Southern thing, but I wasn't raised in the South. I mostly spent my childhood West Coast, so I think it's just because my dad was from the South, but we called everything Coke. Like if I went to a restaurant, if I was at a Denny's or an Applebee's or something, and they said, "What do you want to drink?" I would say, "I want a Coke." Then the expected response would be, "What kind?" And then I would say Sprite, which obviously doesn't make sense because Coke is a brand, and it doesn't make sense to a lot of people But most people understood what I was saying. If I said, I want a Coke, then they would, a lot of the times they would come back and say, what kind, which maybe is a stupid answer, but there must be enough people that do it, that have their minds oriented that way, that waitresses and waiters and everybody else in the service industry knows that if you say Coke, you might not actually mean Coke, you might just mean soda. But that's just a stupid vernacular thing, but very interesting. I always like learning about regional differences in dialect. I think those are fascinating, even though I'm not into languages really, but I love learning the differences between different words and their uses. Just in the United States, just state to state and like region to region, which is, it can be vast, even though we're not that far apart. But whatever. That's just an interesting side note that has nothing to do with this. Summer Freeze, Mountain Dew. It's an easy 5 for me. I love it. Very voltage-like. Maybe better, maybe not. Voltage is my favorite currently, so it's up there. I might try a voltage soon back-to-back to see what's better, but I think this one is awesome. And one of the better Mountain Dew flavors that's been introduced. They've done a few good ones recently, but this one I think might be the best that they've done since I started doing this channel, maybe. So definitely check it out, Mountain Dew Summer Freeze. And with that, I will see you all next time.